All right. We were actually slated to have BRPD Chief Murphy Paul with us this morning, but a little scheduling conflict came up, but the chief did not leave us empty-handed. In fact, he left the cupboard full. We've got Deputy Chief Neal Noel with us and Captain Will Clarida, Captain of Uniform Patrol. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Morning, sir.
I'm doing well. Glad to have you all on board this morning.
It's already warming up.
I know. It's going to be like this all week. Actually, you know what? Let's start there. Summertime in Baton Rouge traditionally means more crime and sadly more violent crime. The very early inklings, where are we right now?
So up to May, we were doing very good. Mm-hmm. Mid-May, beginning of June has been a little bit more trying for us.
We had like a week that was really bad.
It in my career, 26 years, mm-hmm. it's probably the worst week that I've seen. We've had other weeks that have rivaled it. As far back as 2010, we had 11. There was a couple years between now and 10, 15, 20 years ago that kind of rivaled it, but it unfortunately was a bad month.
But since that week, has it tapered back down again?
It has. It's not back to the numbers we saw in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. It's close.
Okay.
We're working very hard, very diligently with Uniform Patrol and our special divisions to make sure that we're putting people where we need to put people, that we're looking at the violent people and the violent places. That's our priority. So we're going to continue to do that. We feel like those strategies are working. We're also participating and working with the mayor's initiatives with Safe, Hopeful, Healthy. We're continuing our community walks and our engagement with the community, but having boots on the ground in the areas where they need to be, we believe is part of that success.
See, one of the things just in media, one of the things I look at is what is other media reporting on. Homicides and non-fatal shootings are going to show up on our news partners' websites and whatnot. So if I'm starting the morning off talking about an alligator being escorted out of a parking lot, we're probably doing okay that day.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
that's
it's
right.
just anecdotal, but, you know, there it is. Now, aside from homicides and non-fatal shootings, do other crimes, do nonviolent or property crimes go up over the summer as well?
Absolutely. One of the things we did in one of our last meetings and the strategy meetings was to talk about car burglaries. Mm-hmm. and burglaries in general. That usually gets left out of the conversation when we talk about violent crime, but there is a tremendous link to the car burglaries and home burglaries because a lot of times that's where the weapons are coming from. So one of the things that we did, we looked over the past several years of data to understand where that summertime burglary pattern was, mm-hmm. to also put personnel and manpower and initiatives in those particular spots. Obviously, I think it's, these young men and women who go out there and commit these crimes, habitual.
Right. Well, so what is it about summertime, though? Because we know that we have a problem with criminals getting younger and younger, but are we talking school age here? Does it coincide with the school year? What is it about the hot temperatures that drive crime up?
Yeah, we talk. I think that is anecdotal. I think there's a lot of explanation that could be offered up for why the summertime we always seem to see some rise. For me, I think school's out. We have less things. Less places for young men and women to be. Mm-hmm. I think that plays a big part in it. So it's a good opportunity for the department and for all of us to find things for people to do. The mm-hmm. camps, the breaks, and our PAL program, of course, the Police Athletic League, and reaching out, grabbing these young kids and doing something with them before they're inspired to do something wrong.
Let's talk about a couple of these summertime initiatives. Tell me about that athletic league a little bit. What does that get going on?
PAL, the Police Athletic League. They have been a part of Baton Rouge, a staple of Baton Rouge for it's decades and decades.
Yeah.
Pushing forward, and
It's actually a program we're bringing back. It was
Yes.
huge in the early 80s and in the 70s here in Baton Rouge. And that's just the limitations of my research on that. It may have spanned it a little bit longer, but the PAL that we're speaking of today is a program within our Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice Foundation, and it is representative of Louisiana State Police, East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, Constable's Office, BRPD. It's kind of a greater Baton Rouge PAL, and it's all about engaging these young kids and getting them before they get to where they actually have to talk to a policeman in an official capacity.
Right.
we just had a rather successful gathering of the PAL initiative, which would have been last Saturday, out at was it Memorial Stadium?
Memorial.
And
Do what?
Well, they came. We had a pretty good group of kids come out with the police officers to kind of show them some of the basics for. I think
it was a good old-fashioned field day.
Yeah, field day.
Yeah.
Just
So that's one of the initiatives.
getting them out,
we
getting them
want to do.
moving, put the phones down. You know, kind of engage them in a physical sense in that regard.
Put the phones down.
Yep.
I can't even
Phones down.
do that with my own kids.
So, and we're going to carry that forward. That was kind of a launching pad. We're going to carry that forward throughout the school year. I think the idea is once a month going to one or two schools in the district and sponsoring a field day that afternoon.
Okay. Well, because I hear Police Athletic League, and immediately in my mind, I'm imagining like, you know, police officers like playing basketball, like
be that.
physically on the court with the guys.
Could be that.
Yeah, and I think those are all programs to come, and you know, once we get the Inspiration Center up and running, PAL will be the Greater Baton Rouge PAL, State Police, all those
Boys and Girls
entities
Club.
will all be a part of that Inspiration Center and operating out of that. So it's going to be a really good blend with all the facilities out at Howell that are going to be available to law enforcement. This is what I always say when this conversation
Wait,
comes
you said
up.
out at Howell, so Breck's Howell Park?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where it'll be located, which is probably one of the riskiest places for violent crime, and that's one of the reasons very purposely put there.
Yeah.
But it's hard to engage the community, you know, when we're there on an official capacity. That's not really the time. You do your best to do that, but you know, you're talking to a family, a young man and woman, when they're having their worst day. So we need to create this atmosphere where we can all just kind of relax. It's not an official capacity, and we're going to be able to engage in a much better way with an individual.
And I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Interrupt. And some of those children that are going to come out and going to participate in that, it's not just it's kind of tailor made for today's child or young adult. It deals with having the game set up where they can do the gaming. They have tutoring options at the Inspiration Center. It's going to be a really nice setup for the local neighborhood as well as anybody that just wants to come participate.
Right. And Howell Park specifically, so last Friday evening, Mayor Pro Tem Lamont Cole had us pedaling for peace, the big bike ride. Yep. Howell Park was where they ended up there. Yep. Obviously, that's not by coincidence.
No, sir.
So it is it's centralized location. It's 4 miles from where we are right now. It's not that it's kind of the heart of where everything's at. Right. We're talking with Deputy Chief Neal Noel and Captain of Uniform Patrol Will Clarida about some of the things going on within BRPD. Let's move from some of the initiatives y'all have for the summertime to something we've seen underway a good bit already, and that is the Page Rice Camera Initiative. Y'all were telling me during the break we're already seeing results.
Absolutely. We've the Page Rice Initiative. If I had to give a date on it, we got to be about 6 months in, maybe a little bit more. But we've had incredible engagement from the community. We've had incredible support from some of the local area nonprofits as well to assist with the Baton Rouge Law Enforcement Criminal Justice Foundation in pushing forward and having businesses either donate, buy a camera, or just basically support and help get cameras for some of those disinvested areas. We had the 2 incidents downtown. We had the one gentleman that was from out of town. One of the Page Rice cameras assisted in helping to locate a suspect vehicle in that.
That'd be Nathan Millard.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. And then the cameras did play a part in tracking some of the whereabouts of the last gentleman that was from Oklahoma, which that case is still under investigation. But the cameras did assist in that. There's no resolution yet. And I can tell you for a fact within the last 60 days that 3 incidents dealing with violent crime, 2 of them being homicides for sure, the Page Rice cameras caught the incidents on film.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Which has led to arrests? Or I'm asking about
I'm not going to go any further into that.
No.
But it's okay.
It's all good. Yeah, we're good. We were
very confident, though, we'll get a resolution.
Well, but, the Nathan Millard incident is one that I think I feel bad every time I say it out loud. Right. And I look like the jerk when I say it out loud. But it's actually a testament to, we talk about safety versus perception of safety.
Yes.
That dude wandered around downtown and past the bus station high as a paper kite. He walked around and he was fine until he finally found what he was looking for. Right. I mean, but he was seeking something. He found it, but he walked up and down 30, walked up and down Florida. We were able to see him along the way because of the cameras. It just, in a weird way, it shows a level of safety there.
And that case would be considered the epitome of an investigation that is underway, where we can't release information at the time, and then people tend to run with their own narratives until the information comes out at the back.
Yeah.
So, and it's always unfortunate for us because we just chomping at the bit to say what we have and what we don't have, right? But there's a responsibility
in
there.
that process.
All good. And the response has got to be. The response by the business community, I think, is one that could be a bit of a game changer in that folks are finally saying, what's my role? How can I help?
Absolutely. That encompasses all of what the Page Rice Camera Initiative is about. It's about giving some empowerment back to the business owner, the average citizen. Hey, because people want to help.
Yeah.
People want to help overwhelmingly.
But just knowing your role, though, it's like, we got to, knowing the role of the public's role in law enforcement is not vigilantism, and it's not staying on the sideline. There's somewhere in the middle, and I think we're starting to find that middle ground now. And I was told the other day that there's another 200 plus cameras that are still on the way.
Oh yeah.
Is there a maximum capacity we can have on this?
I think we're far from reaching it at this point, but yeah. At some point that would become a conversation, but I think we're a couple thousand away from that conversation.
Okay. All right. So we got room to run.
Right.
Hey, we got Deputy Chief Neal, Noel, and Captain of Uniform Patrol Will Clarida for another minute or so. Can we talk recruiting? I know that's a constant search. It's a rolling search, if you will. Where are we at recruiting wise?
So we currently have about 29, 30 applicants in the process. Our application process for the 91st, which does include a hiring bonus for the 91st. I'm running a sale or something, but yeah, for the 91st, there still is eligibility for a hiring bonus. We're up to about 30 applicants. Traditionally, that is a number we'd like to see higher, obviously, but we intend on starting that academy mid-August.
Mid-August for the next one. Yeah, I was waiting for but wait, there's more.
Yeah, no, and we're about to graduate 14 from the last academy sometime mid-July. Mid-July. Yeah.
Very cool stuff. Well, look, I appreciate the time. We could probably keep y'all for a lot longer, but I know we got to get y'all out of here. Deputy Chief Neal Noel, Captain of Uniform Patrol Will Clarida, thank y'all so much for hopping in today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.